Hi everyone! Thank you for joining me today. My name is Kelly and I'll be taking you through a classic Pilates mat workout today. So all you'll need is a mat. If you don't have a mat, feel free to use a towel or a blanket, whatever you have on hand. Just one thing to remember today, since I'm not there to see you, please take things at your own pace. If you have any injuries or anything bothering you, feel free to make any modifications that you may need or to skip an exercise if that's best for your body. So let's get started. We'll start at the back of our mats in a standing position. So we'll have the feet about hip distance apart, standing up nice and tall, shoulders stacked over the hips, stacked over the ankles, ribs are closed. We're going to take a nice deep inhale as those arms sweep up and overhead. On the exhale, diving forward, nod the chin, rounding through the spine as you slowly round all the way down to the mat, bringing the hands to touch the mat. Now, if the hands can't touch the mat, feel free to put a generous bend in the knees until you can get those hands flat. From here, we're going to take those hands out one at a time, walking all the way out to the top of the push-up. Pressing up through the shoulders, tucking the tail down and closing the ribs. We'll lengthen through the back of the neck, take a deep inhale, and then slowly walk those hands back towards the feet. Bending the knees as you come in, and then slowly rounding up one vertebrae at a time, bringing yourself all the way back up to standing. Roll the shoulders back. Find that neutral spine again. Inhale. Exhale, arms sweep up overhead as you dive forward, rounding the spine, dropping the head as you roll all the way down. Again, feel free to put a generous bend in the knees if you can't reach the floor. And then we'll walk out one hand at a time, all the way out into that push-up position. Pressing up through the shoulders, deep inhale, and then we'll walk it all the way back again. So we're just warming up the body here, getting some blood flowing. We'll round up one vertebrae at a time, slowly rebuilding the spine. Roll the shoulders back at the top. One more like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, slowly rounding forward all the way down towards the mat, pulling those ribs up away from the floor as the hands come down, walking it all the way out. Find that nice top of the push-up position, and then walking it all the way back. Bending the knees as you come in. Slowly rounding up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to standing. This last one we'll hold out at the end. Deep inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, diving forward, coming all the way down over the legs. As those hands touch the mat, we'll walk it all the way out. Let's find the top of the push-up position here, or a plank. We're pressing away from the floor. The fingertips are wide. The tail is tucked, and the ribs are pulling off of the floor. So just take 2 breaths here. Deep inhale through the nose, and a long exhale. Feel free to drop the knees if you need to. One more deep breath in. Long exhale. And then we'll slowly lower the knees down to the mat, finding a quadruped position. So you want those hands placed right underneath the shoulders and the knees stuck directly under the hips. We'll find a neutral spine, picking the ribs off the floor. And again, we're going to push up and protract those shoulder blades. So what we don't want is that sinking into the back. You want to think about pushing away from the floor. We're going to start with just a little cat-cow. So we'll take a deep inhale. On the exhale, round the spine as you drop the head, looking in between the legs, pushing away from the floor. Inhale, drop the belly, reach out through the crown of the head. And exhale, pushing away from the floor, rounding the spine as you drop the head. Inhale, reaching through the crown of the head as you send that tail behind you. Take a few at your own pace here. If there's any other movements that feel good for you to start warming up, go ahead and take those as you please, whatever feels good for your body. Just a few more. Exhale. And inhale as you pull through. Last one here. Deep exhale as you round the spine. And inhale. Let's come back to that neutral spinal position. So again, making sure you're in that nice quadruped position, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, pressing up away from the floor, pulling the ribs up. We're just going to go into a swimming prep. So we'll reach the opposite hand and leg, reaching through both ends of the body. So that back leg, you're reaching through the heel, trying to push the wall over. The ribs are pulling up, and we're trying to keep those hips nice and square. That arm is reaching towards the front wall, and then we'll slowly bring the hand and knee down, trying to land at the same time. Switching sides, push up through the shoulders, hand and opposite leg reach, trying to knock that wall over behind you, pushing up through that supporting shoulder, and then slowly lowering back down to the mat. Opposite side, arm and leg reach, trying to lengthen through both ends of the body, really pushing up through that shoulder, and slowly lower down. And switch, reach. So you're really using your core to try to find your balance and control here. So we're just warming up that core to help stabilize the body. And slowly lower. Let's do one more set here. And all the way down. This time we'll take that arm and leg out and we'll hold. So holding out, reaching through both ends of the body. From here, we're going to exhale you round the spine, bring the elbow and the knee into center, and then send it all the way back out. So we exhale round the spine, knee and elbow meet underneath the body, and reach it up. Again, exhale in, inhale out. So you're really using that core to pull the elbow and knee together underneath the body. Still pushing up through that stabilizing shoulder. And trying not to sink into that opposite hip. So your standing hip, your standing leg, trying not to sink into that side. Trying to keep those hips really square. 2 more. And out. Last one. All the way out. And slowly lower that knee and hand down. Center the body. Push up through the shoulders. Opposite side here. So we'll reach it up. Exhale, pull the elbow and knee into me. And send it out. Exhale in. Inhale out. Again, let's think about pushing up through that stabilizing shoulder. And trying not to sink into the stabilizing hip. Rounding the spine to really turn on the core. Still warming up the body here. And last one here. Exhale in. All the way out. And slowly lower down. Let's take a quick child's pose. So pulling back through the hips, reaching the arms forward. You can waggle the hips side to side if that feels good for you. Let's come back up to that quadruped position. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. From here, you're going to tuck those toes under to get a nice support base. We're going to push up through those shoulders again, pull the ribs off of the floor. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. On the exhale, lift those knees just to a hover. So they're just about an inch above the mat. You're still in that neutral spine with the ribs pulling up. And again, we're just trying to fire up the core here. So really turning on that low belly. If at any time you need to drop the knees, go ahead and do so. We'll hold here just for another 5, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees. Pull back for that child's pose. And we'll slowly round the spine all the way up. And we'll swing the knees around in front of us to come to a seated position. So we'll have those feet flat on the mat, about hip distance apart with the knees bent. Sitting up nice and tall, trying to stack those shoulders over the hips. If you feel like you get into the hip flexors a lot and outward, feel free to put something between the knees, either a ball, a yoga block. If you don't have any props, feel free to use a pillow or a blanket, anything you can place between the knees to help you work into the inner thighs and into the core and stay out of the hip flexors. Totally optional, just if your body needs that today. So we'll take the arms straight out in front of us. Again, neutral spine with the ribs closed. Dropping the shoulders. We'll take a deep inhale. On the exhale, we're going to tuck the pelvis, hollowing the belly as you round back away from the knees, keeping the feet really heavy. So you want that hollow C curve in the belly, round your lower back, pulling those ribs in. You don't have to go back too far, just so you can keep the feet heavy and a nice controlled core. We'll take a deep inhale here. On the exhale, we'll roll forward just an inch. Inhale back an inch. So exhale forward an inch. Inhale back an inch. Now the movement is coming from the belly, so we're trying not to use momentum. You're using that low belly, pulling the ribs in towards each other To initiate that movement, we exhale forward and inhale back. And exhale forward and inhale back. Those of you that come to my normal Saturday class, this might look a little familiar. And exhale and inhale. Just a few more here. Let's try 3 more for 3. And back. And exhale 2. And back 1 more. Forward, back, and hold. So if you need to take a break, go ahead and do so. If not, we're going to add on. Just lift that one arm to the sky and lower down. And switch. And lower. So as you lift that arm, we're keeping that nice hollow belly. If when you lift the arm, you see the back doing this, you've lifted that arm a little too high. So just keeping a really controlled range of motion. That belly stays hollow, the back stays round. Exhale as you lift, and inhale as you lower. Let's just do a few more here. That core should be getting nice and warm by now. Keeping those feet heavy on the mat, knees are staying hip width apart. Let's go for both arms at the same time. So we'll take both arms up and down. Exhale, lift, and lower. Again, those arms don't high to feel the work here, because we're going to keep nice and round through that low back and through the belly. No arching of the back here. Shoulders pull down as the arms raise. Can we do 2 more? Last one, lift, and then we'll take that low belly to pull us all the way over the legs. Give those knees a little hug, and then we'll sit up tall. Let's add on. So this time we're going to go into the obliques. So we'll take those arms out, nice and tall again, tall spine. Deep inhale. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, rounding back, finding that hollow belly position. Feet are still heavy on the mat. Now this time I want you to imagine that you're holding on to an imaginary ball. And then take that imaginary ball, you're going to tap it on the mat beside you, and then you're going to draw a rainbow with that ball all the way up and over to the other side. You're going to follow that ball with your gaze the whole time as it goes side to side. So you should feel those obliques turn on pretty quickly here. And those knees are staying parallel, so try not to let them knock together. And reach. Pulling those ribs in, keeping that hollow belly. Again, if you're feeling those hip flexors, feel free to place something between the knees. It'll help activate the inner thighs and keep the work in the core and out of those hip flexors. Exhale as you come up and over. Let's do a few more. You know these are some of my favorites. Following those hands with the eyes so you get that nice full rotation. One more set. We'll go to one side and then the other. Back to center first, and then that core works to pull you all the way over the legs. Give those knees a little hug and sit up tall. From here, let's add on a little bit of legs. So staying in the same position. We'll sit up tall with those arms out, dropping the shoulders. Deep inhale. Exhale as you tuck the pelvis, hollowing the belly as you round back away from the legs. From here, the low belly, not the quad, is going to work to lift one leg up to tabletop and then slowly lower down. And exhale, switch. Low belly turns on to pull that leg up and control it down. Now you can see how slow I'm going here. That's so I can really focus that work on my core and let the quad stay out of it. I know that you can lift that leg up very easily by turning on that quad, but here we're going to call that cheating. So we really want to focus on that low belly doing the work to lift those legs up one at a time. If at any point you need a break, go ahead and take it. Get back right into it when you're ready. Let's do 2 more sets. Make sure you're staying even on your sides here. One more on each side. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Now, if you want to take a challenge, you can lift one leg and hold, and bring that other leg up to meet it. See if you can hold that boat pose here, just for 3, 2, and 1, and then one leg down at a time. And slowly roll forward. Give those knees another little hug and sit up tall. Let's come on to our backs. So we just did a lot of core work. We're going to counteract all of that core work with a little back of the body work. So you're going to move the heels in closer to the seat. You might be able to reach the heels with the hands. And then have those legs about hip distance apart. So you want those feet, knees, and hips in line. Arms are down by the sides. You've started at a neutral pelvis and spine here. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose. On the exhale, we're going to pull the ribs closed to pass through imprint. Turn on the back of the legs to pull the hips up to the sky. So when we get to the top here, we want one long line from shoulder to knee. Those glutes and hamstrings are turning on. So what I'd like you to do is just to take those hands, touch your hamstrings, the back of the legs, and see that they're active. So you really want the back of the legs doing most of the work here. Closing the ribcage in the front of the body, lengthening through the knees. We'll take a deep inhale here at the top. On the exhale, we'll lead with the sternum as we slowly start to articulate down with control, one vertebrae at a time, reaching through the knees as you lengthen the spine all the way down to the mat. Once your tailbone hits, we'll release to that neutral spine. Again, inhale. Exhale, coming through imprint. Press into the feet to activate the back of the legs, lifting the hips, reaching along through the knees. Inhale at the top. Exhale from the sternum. Slowly articulate down. So like your spine is a string of pearls, you want every vertebrae or every pearl to come down one at a time, feeling it touch the mat before you continue through that articulation, and then release to neutral at the bottom. Inhale here. Exhale, press into the feet, activating the back of the legs to lift the hips. So really drive through those heels to keep those hips lifting high, closing the ribs, and then slowly rolling down. So really turning on the back of the body here after all of that core work. On this next one, we're going to hold it at the top. So we'll inhale here. Exhale, press into the feet, rolling the hips to the sky, finding that nice long line. If this is enough for you today, you're welcome to stay here. If you'd like to add on, we're going to take one leg straight up to the sky. So you're trying to keep those hips nice and level, driving through the back of that bottom leg. You're just going to lower the hips down an inch and up an inch, down an inch and up an inch. Option to bend the top knee if that's more comfortable for your body. Driving through the bottom heel to lift those hips to the sky. Now that leg that's up towards the sky, you want to make sure that hip's not drooping down. So trying to keep those hips really level as you go down and up for 2. Last one to the top, bend that top knee, bring that foot down to the mat. Keeping the hips high here through center, we'll go right into the other side. So take that leg up, and then we'll lower down and up to the sky. Inhale, lower, exhale up. Again, driving through that bottom heel to really turn on the glute and hamstring, trying to keep those hips really level. Again, option to bend that top knee if that's better for you. For 2. Last one here, all the way up. Bend that top knee, bring the foot down to the mat. Hips are high first, and then we'll slowly articulate down with control. All the way to the mat. Release to neutral. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, rocking side to side. From here, let's go back into a little bit of our ab work. So we'll start with the feet down. We'll take a deep inhale. On the exhale, we'll slowly bring one leg to tabletop using the low belly. Inhale here. Exhale, opposite leg comes to tabletop. Now that we're in tabletop, we want to find a nice imprinted spine. So there should be no space between the low back and the mat. I'm used to saying the carriage. Pulling the ribs closed. Arms are by the sides. We're just going to go into some toe taps here. So the goal is to not tap the foot to the floor, but to keep the imprint in the spine. So again, no space between your low back and the mat. So we'll start with your favorite leg. We'll lower that leg down without losing that 90-degree of the knee. And exhale, low belly pulls you up. Opposite leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, low belly pulls the leg up. So you want this movement to be really slow and controlled so that the low belly is doing all the work and you're not using momentum. Inhale, lower, exhale, pulling up. So you want to feel that work coming from that low abdomen to pull the leg up into tabletop. And exhale as you come up. And again, you're only lowering that leg as far as you can keep the low back on the mat. As soon as you feel that low back come off of the mat, you've gone a little too far. Let's do one more on each side. Exhale up. And last one. Exhale up. Let's hug the knees, take a little rock side to side. We're going to do that same thing, but with both legs at the same time. So finding that nice tabletop position, shins are parallel to the floor, legs are hip distance apart. We'll inhale as you lower the legs. Exhale, low belly pulls you up. Now this time, since we have both legs moving at the same time, twice the weight, that's going to be twice as hard. So the legs will probably go half as low as they did last time. And again, we're not after how far the legs can go down, but we're about keeping that low back on the mat. Let's just do two more here. Inhale as you lower, exhale, low belly pulls up, and last one. Inhale down, exhale up, and hug those knees into the chest. So we've just got one more set of toe taps here, and this time we'll be in a frog position. So you're going to find the heels together and the toes apart. The knees are about as wide as your shoulders. You're going to keep the feet pulling back, so dorsiflexion position in the ankles. We're just going to tap both heels down at the same time. So inhale as you lower the heels down. And exhale up. So what you're doing is you're opening from the hip joint to take those legs down at the same time, and then using that low belly to pull the legs back up over the hips. Again, the whole focus here is on that low back, staying flat on the mat. Just two more. Inhale down. Feeling those obliques really start to turn on just by having this frog position. Last one. All the way up and hug the knees to the chest. Let's do a little bicycle here. So we're going to start with a single leg stretch, move into a bicycle, and then we'll go into both legs at the same time. So we're going to start again with those legs in tabletop. We're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. If it's too much for you to have the chest lifted, feel free to keep the chest down throughout this series. If you have the chest lifted today, you're still in that imprint. We're going to take one leg out. We'll bring that leg in and switch. So we're going to exhale as we switch and switch. Option to have the hands behind the head if you need that neck support. Again, option to have the chest down as well. Most importantly is we're keeping that imprint in the spine. Now, if you feel that low back coming off of the mat, you can take the legs higher to the sky. That will help keep that low back down. The lower the leg goes towards the floor, the more challenging it's going to be to keep that low back down. Let's just do one more set. Bring the legs back to center and hug the knees into the chest. Let's add that oblique twist. So we'll bring those legs back to tabletop to start. Head, neck, and shoulders lift. This time we'll bring the hands behind the head. We're going to exhale as you rotate towards one side, bringing the shoulder towards the knee. Inhale, come back to center, pause, and then switch. Pausing in the middle. Now, as you rotate, we're trying to reach that shoulder to the knee, not the elbow. So you really want to get that entire shoulder blade all the way up off of the mat. And again, if this is too much for your body today, feel free to keep the chest down and just go back into bicycling the legs with the torso still. We'll exhale as you rotate. Inhale to center. Again, with those legs, if you're finding it challenging on the low back, feel free to take them higher towards the sky. That higher position will help keep the low back down, whatever works best for your body. Let's do one more set here. And then hugging the knees into the chest. Give a little rock side to side. We've got just one more ab exercise here before we move on. I know the abs are getting fatigued. We're going to go into our double leg stretch. So again, let's find those legs in tabletop. Knees are stacked over the hips. Shins parallel to the floor. You're welcome to do this movement with the chest down. Again, if you have neck issues or if it's uncomfortable for you. But we're going to lift the torso here if you can. Lifting up and reaching those fingertips towards the knees or towards the feet. Finding your imprint in the spine, no space under the low back. From here, the arms reach overhead as the legs reach out. We'll circle the arms around as the knees bend in. So inhale as you reach. Exhale as you circle. And again, those legs can go higher or lower. So higher will look like this. That will help keep your imprint. Or lower, wherever is good for you to keep that low back down. Again, option to do this movement with the head and neck and shoulders down. Let's do one more. Hug those knees in, lower down. We're just going to drop the knees to one side, open the arms out, take a nice little spinal twist. You earned it. Deep inhale. Exhale, knees come through center and all the way over to the other side. Looking the head in the opposite direction of the knees. Inhale here. Exhale, knees through center. Give them a nice little squeeze. And let's roll over onto our stomach. So again, we just did all of that ab work. So we're going to counter that work with a little bit of back of the body work, just like we did last time. So we're going to come onto our stomachs. We're going to take our forehead down into the mat. Legs reaching long, about hip distance apart. Arms will be right by the shoulders, so hands right underneath the shoulders here. So here you want that pubic bone into the mat, but you want the ribs and belly button pulling off of the mat. So I like to say, imagine you have a grate underneath your belly button, and you can't smash that grate. That's going to ensure that you're really engaging the core instead of dumping into the low back. So picking that belly button off of the mat, hands underneath the shoulders, forehead down. We'll take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, press the feet into the mat. Pull the shoulder blades down as you look just about 2 inches in front of your nose. The shoulder blades are pulling down the back. You're breathing in and exhale. One more in. Exhale, lower down. Let's do that again. Deep inhale. Exhale, shoulder blades slide down, reaching up. Again, that belly button is lifting off of the mat. Make sure that you're not feeling a lot of pressure in the low back here. And then we'll lower down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, pulling those shoulder blades down the back. Reaching through the crown of the head, looking about 2 inches in front of your nose. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Bending the knees, you can wiggle them side to side like your windshield wipers. And then we'll bring those legs back down. This time we're going to extend the arms long by our sides. The pinkies are pointing towards the sky. We'll take a deep inhale. On the exhale, the chest and the legs will all lift off the mat. So everything lifts. The belly button lifts. Try to relax the glutes. Reaching long through the crown of the head, long through the feet. Lengthening through both ends of the body. And we'll lower down. Big inhale. Exhale, everything reaches long. Lengthening through both ends of the body. And inhale to lower down. 3 more here. Exhale, lift and reach. Again, looking 2 inches in front of the nose. Inhale to lower. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down the body. And inhale to lower. Now this last one will come all the way up and hold. So exhale, lift and hold. Let's turn the palms down towards the legs. We're going to pulse the pinkies and the feet together. So we squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pinkies try to touch, feet touch and open. Now you're going to feel those triceps start to turn on. A little added extra bonus here. Still reaching long through the crown of the head and long through the toes. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. You can windshield wiper those knees. Just release all that tension from the low back. So from here, we're going to keep the knees bent. You're going to take the hands, stack the palms, and place them right underneath your forehead. We're going to find a frog in the legs. So your knees are going to be about as wide as the mat. Your heels are together, toes are apart, and you have dorsiflexion in both ankles. So you want your feet to be flat towards your ceiling. Again, the belly button's pulling up off of the mat to protect the low back. With the head in the hands, forehead right on the hands, relax the shoulders down. From here, we'll take an inhale. On the exhale, you're going to press the feet to the sky, lifting the thighs off of the mat if you can, and inhale to lower. So squeezing the glutes to lift and lower. So you're trying not to dump into the low back here. Again, that belly button is pulling off of the mat. We're just squeezing the heels to lift the legs. So you want to think about the heels pulling together to lift the thighs off of the mat. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. So you should really feel those glutes and hamstrings turning on here. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Let's do 2 more. Try to relax the upper body. Last one. And now we're ready to add on. So this time we're going to lift those legs up. We're going to extend them out towards the corners of the room. Bend the knees, bring the heels together, and then lower the thighs. So we lift, open, bend, down. Lift, open, bend, and down. So those thighs are staying lifted as the legs extend towards the corners of the room. Should really feel those glutes and hamstrings here. And remember that belly button is still lifting off the mat. Let's do 2 more. Let's go by the shoulders. Push back and find a child's pose. Taking some flexion after all of that extension. So just take a few breaths here. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath. Deep breath in. And a long exhale out. Rolling all the way up, 1 vertebrae at a time. Let's come into some sideline leg work. So options for your sideline. You can either be up onto one forearm. So you're going to have the elbow underneath the shoulder and the legs extended. In this position, your lower upper body, the lower side, has to work really hard to pull up away from the mat and work the shoulder the whole time. If that's not for you today, you can go ahead and lie down and use your arm as a pillow. This will give you a nice little comfortable spot. And then your hips are stacked. You're pulling that right side up away from the mat. So you want to create a little mouse house under your side here. So you should have a little gap underneath here. Your legs are reaching long. Your hips are stacked, so you should feel like you're going to fall over if the wind blows too hard. Take that top hand, place it down on the mat in front of you for support. This is so you don't fall over. From here, reaching long through the legs, you're going to take that top leg, lift it just up to hip height, flex the foot, and lower down. We'll point through the toes as we lift, flex the foot, and lower down. So the goal of this exercise is to not lift the leg as high as you can. We're going to just lift it to hip height. The goal is to lengthen that leg as much as you can. So as you're lifting up that leg, think about reaching through the toes, getting as long as you possibly can. That side body is lifting up the whole time, so the core is engaged to stabilize and keep you from falling over. And we'll lift, flex, and lower. Point, lift, flex, and lower. Relaxing the head into the hand or into the arm so that you're not straining the neck. Let's do 2 more here. And on this last one, we'll lift and hold. So keeping the hips really stable from the core working hard. I'm going to take that leg and just draw a small circle forward, down, and around. So again, the goal is not to be as big as you can, but to keep the hips really stable as the leg circles. That stabilization comes from the core. For 2, and 1. Let's reverse. The leg goes back, down, and around. So you should feel your outer thigh, your abductors starting to turn on. For 2, and 1, lower down. On this next one, you'll lift the top leg up. We'll bring the bottom leg up to meet it, and lower both legs down. So we lift, both legs lower. Again, on this one, we're going for the length of the legs. So reaching as far as you can and control on the way down. Last one, the lift, control, lower. We're going to take that top leg, we'll bend the knee and bring it flat on the mat in front of us. We're going to take that bottom leg, lift it up to the sky and lower down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. So you're using that bottom inner thigh to lift that leg up. Again, thinking length through that leg, reaching long through the toes. For 2. And last one here, lower that leg down. We'll stack the legs one more time, and then bring the knees up to a tabletop position. So you want the knees in line with the hips, and then we'll keep those feet glued together as we do our clamshell. So you'll open and close your top knee. We lift and lower. The feet stay glued together. That side body is still lifting up, so you've got that core engaged. And that outer thigh should be warm by now. For 2. One more here, close. Let's add on. This time we'll open that clamshell. We're going to extend the leg up, point through the toes, bend the knee, bring the feet together, and close your clamshell. So we open, kick, bend, close. Open, kick, bend, and close. So now you should really start to feel that outer glute area, your glute medius, turning on. And if you're not, feel free to do some extras when we're done. And let's just do 2 more here. Open, extend, bend, close. Last one, open, extend, bend, and close. Let's roll onto our back, so we'll take a quick stretch before we move on. So the leg that you worked, you're going to take that ankle and cross it over your knee, and then pull that leg in towards you for a figure 4 stretch, threading the arms between the legs, and just pulling that leg in, dorsiflexion in both ankles, so you should feel that stretch on that glute area that you just worked. If that's uncomfortable for you, feel free to keep the leg down and just give that knee a little push, whatever is best for your body here. Okay, so let's head the knees in. We're going to take just a little detour. We're going to do just a little plank work before we move to the other side. So let's turn around. We're going to come into our plank position to start. We'll have the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. We're going to tuck the toes under and push up to a full plank. Now, if this is uncomfortable for you, feel free to drop down to the forearms and do a forearm plank. Whatever's right for your body today. So from here, really pushing away from the floor, spreading the shoulder blades wide, legs are really active. We're just going to warm up this plank position before we move on. So hold just for a few more seconds, reaching along through the crown of the head, and then we'll lower those knees down. So that's our warm up. This time we're going to move on. We're going to add just a few more little fun tricks. So again, we'll come to that starting position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Again, if you want to move to the forearms instead of the hands, go for it. We'll tuck the toes, lift the knees, and find that nice full plank position. From here, to turn on those obliques, you're going to drop one hip towards the side. We'll come back through center and drop to the other side, back through center. So you're just rotating those hips from one side to the other. The heels can kind of move with you here. You can always do this in the forearm position as well, but what we don't want is dropping in those shoulders. So you still want to push up through those shoulders, protracting the shoulder blades as you push away from the floor. Just a few more here. You know I love planks, so gotta add some fun ones into the workout today. And side, let's do one more set. And center, last side. Center, knees drop down. Pull back through a child's pose. Very nice work. Let's try one more plank here. So again, starting in that same position, hands are stuck under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Again, if you're doing a forearm plank, just make sure that those elbows are right underneath the shoulders, and then you're keeping the hands in line with the shoulders and not clasping them in the center. So from here, pushing up, tuck the toes, big inhale, exhale, lift the knees, find that plank position. From here, you're going to keep the upper body stable. The knees are just going to tap down and up. Knees tap down and lift. So you're going to feel that low belly start to fire up. And we want those knees to tap at the same time. And they're not going down and hanging out at the bottom. It's just a light tap, and then a lift right back up. Let's do 2 more here. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Last one. Lift. Drop the knees. Pull back through the hips for your child's pose. Very nice work. Let's get into the other side of those legs. So lying on the opposite side, if you remember which one you did already, again, you can be up on the forearm or down on your elbow as a pillow. So again, let's make sure we're in one long line from shoulder to toe. The hips are stacked, top arm is in front. So again, those hips should be really stacked, so you should feel like you're gonna fall over if you don't have the support of your hand. And the side body is lifting up away from the mat. That's to engage the core and help to stabilize the hips. So hand is down. Take a deep inhale. We're gonna lift that leg up, flex the foot, and lower down. Point to lift, flex, and lower. Point, lift, flex, lower. And again, that leg is only coming to about hip height. So we're not trying to get the leg as high as we can. We're trying to keep that leg nice and stable, right in line with the head. Relaxing the head down if you're using your arm as your pillow, so there's no tension in the neck. 2 more. Last one, lift and hold. Now keeping that leg up, we're going to draw a circle just about the size of a tennis ball. So again, you don't want that circle to be really big because we're going to keep those hips super stable. Reaching long through that leg, trying to get that length through the body. And reverse, opposite direction. Nice, small, slow, controlled circles. Still pulling up through that side body so the core is super engaged. Last one, lower down. So now we're going to add in the bottom leg. We're going to lift the top leg up. Bottom leg comes up to meet it, and we lower down. So again, we're going for the length of the legs here. You can really use that top arm to help support you for 2. And the obliques are working hard to stabilize all the way down. Top leg, knee bends, comes in front, flat on the mat. Now that bottom leg's going to do the work. We're going to use that inner thigh to lift up and lower down. Exhale, lift and lower. Again, we're going for the length of the leg. Reach through those toes. See how long you can get that leg. And reach. Inhale, lower. Just a few more here. Last 2. And 1, lower down. Extend that top leg long across the bottom leg. Bend the knees up so you're in that tabletop position. So again, we still want that side body pulling up so that the core is really strong and engaged. I'm going to keep the feet glued together as that top knee opens and closes. We open and close. Again, you can use that top arm for support. That outer thigh abductor should be turned on. Your glute media should be turned on. 2 more like this, and then we'll add on. And close. So now we're going to add that kick. So we'll open our clamshell, kick the leg, bend the knee, feet come together, and close. Open, kick, feet together, and close. Press, bend, and close. So now that glute media should be really turning on. Should feel those glutes on fire. If not, again, you can add extras later. 2 more. Kick, bend, and close. Last one, open, kick, bend, and close. Let's roll onto our back and take that stretch again here. So you'll take the working leg, you'll take the ankle over the knee. You're welcome to stay here if this is enough. If you want more, you can pull that leg up to tabletop, thread the hand between the leg, and pull on the back of that leg. Again, you want that dorsiflexion in both ankles to protect the knee. Pulling that leg in towards you. Let's take a nice stretch here, well deserved. And then pull those knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. We're going to go back into our planks here. I know that's what everyone loves to hear. This time we're going to go into the side plank series. So a few options here. If you're just starting out, you're welcome to use the bottom leg to support you. So what that will look like is we'll have our shoulder right over our wrist. Fingertips are facing forward. And you can take that bottom leg, you'll bend the knee. Top leg is extended. Your top hand can be on your top hip. And you'll just keep that bottom knee down as you lift the hips into your supported side plank. So that is always an option that's there for you. Other options, you can have that forearm down. You can do the supported plank or both legs extended. Or you can have the feet staggered or stacked. So whatever is best for your body, so many options. So wherever you are, let's find our side plank. I'm going to go with feet stacked today. So you really want to push up through that shoulder stacked over the wrist. And you're trying to find the length or find space under that bottom rib. So you're trying to make like a rainbow under this side here. Finding as much space as you push up through that shoulder. Top hand can be on your hip. And your ears are in line with your shoulders. So just holding here, and then we'll drop those hips down an inch, and up an inch, down an inch, and up an inch. Small movement, we won't be here long, I promise. Should really feel those obliques turning on. For 3, and 2. Last one, lift, and control it down. Very nice work. So again, other side, you have the option to keep the knee down. You have the option to stagger the feet, option to go on the forearm, whatever you want to do today. If you want to do something different on both sides, if you have injury, that's an option as well. So finding your setup to start, we have the shoulder right over the wrist, and then we'll find that nice plank position. So this would be staggered feet. This will be stacked feet. Finding that length under the side of the body, we'll just lower the hip down and up. Down and up. Try to turn on those obliques to get the work in the other underside of the body. For 3, and 2. Last one, and control as you go all the way down. Very nice work. So just roll out the wrist, shake out the arms, whatever feels good for you. Let's come to a cross-legged position. If that's uncomfortable for you, you can extend both legs long. So we're going to take one arm out to the side. The opposite arm is going to reach up and over as you take a nice little lateral stretch through the side of the body. If you want more, you can go ahead and bend that elbow. We want those sits bones really heavy on the mat. Inhale here. And then we'll come around, opposite hand down, reaching up and over to the side. Again, feel free to bend that elbow if you want a little more. Dropping the shoulder down. Keeping those sits bones anchored. Very good. We're going to extend both legs out in front of us. We'll sit up nice and tall. If you need to bend the knees, that's an option. Reach those arms up, deep inhale. Exhale, diving forward over. Either reaching towards the feet on the floor, on the back of the feet, whatever's closest for you. Just taking a nice, gentle forward fold. Relaxing the head down. And then slowly rounding up. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again in a few weeks. Have a wonderful weekend and stay safe.